Welcome to High School Sports Chat at thedpost.com. I'm Joey LoMonaco, joined by Sean Manning, the prep beat writer at thedpost.com. How are you doing today, Sean?
Good, Joey. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So we got some big games this weekend, but let's first a quick recap of last weekend. Morgantown lost pretty big to Wheeling Park, and that wasn't the end of it. They lost some big players to injury, too.
Especially on the offensive side of the ball. They lost running back Jordan Page as well as Maverick Wolfley. And they also lost offensive lineman Mitchell Powers. And it was just one of those games where nothing went right for Morgantown. It started late because of another lightning delay, which has been a theme this year. And when you lose a guy like Jordan Page, who has ran for almost 700 yards this year, has been the bulk of your offense, and then you lose his backup in Maverick Wolfley, that'll definitely hurt you.
All right, for the Mohegans taking on a Riverside squad on Friday, what do you expect out of that matchup?
With the injuries that Morgantown had last week, it would be a really good opportunity for them to sit those guys against Riverside, their homecoming game this week. Riverside is currently 0-6. A very tough schedule. They've played some of the top teams in the state, and Capital, George Washington, and Huntington. But they haven't won a single game this year and haven't really shown much. So if Morgantown need to sit those players, this would be the week to do it.
Going across town, those Hawks still haven't been able to get into the win column. They're sitting at 0-7. But when we were talking earlier, you said that might have a chance to change this week. Why?
They're playing a Lewis County team who has struggled this year. Lewis County lost to Preston, and Preston has, as we have found out, isn't quite who we thought they were at the beginning of the year. And I just think the skill players that University has, they've learned as the year has gone on and suffered through these tough losses. I think that this week may be their best chance of the season to finally get that first win.
Okay, let's start talking about Preston. They've lost 2 games in a row. And when the most recent rankings came out that determine the high school playoffs, they're on the outside looking in. The top 16 teams make the dance. They're 17th right now. What do they need to do to remedy that?
Start winning. As simple as that sounds. They've lost to North Marion 3 weeks ago, and they lost to Hedgesville 2 weeks ago. And Hedgesville had not won in the last 20 games, and they kept their first win against Preston. The night started out 3-1. They lost 2 in a row. They're sitting at 3-3. Typically, to get into the playoffs, you need to be 6-4, around that range, and they have to beat an East Fairmont team this week that is currently sitting at 1-6. If they lose this week, it might be it for them.
I know when the schedule came out last week, not a lot of people were picking the CBs to beat Bishop Donahue, but that's just what happened. Big upset win for Clay-Battelle.
Bishop Donahue was actually undefeated when they played Clay-Battelle last week, and before the season started, we all thought that Clay-Battelle would be a top 10 team and would, without a doubt, make the playoffs, especially with quarterback Jared Hockenberry being back. But it hasn't gone that way, just inexperience around Hockenberry. But last week, it seemed like they really put together what we thought they'd be at the beginning of the year, with Hockenberry at quarterback, Zach Bain at running back, their receivers on the outside, Chris Wolf, Tim Hall, and Devin Weber, played very well, and Tanner Burnett took snaps at quarterback, and they shifted Hockenberry out to wide receiver. And with that talent on offense, it's just hard to believe they've already lost 4 games this year. But with the big win and 4 games to go, they could have possibly finished at 6-4, as I previously mentioned, and maybe sneak their way back into the playoffs.
Well, it figures to be another exciting Friday night under the lights for you, Sean. Thanks for joining us at High School Sports Chat at thedpost.com. Have a great day.